It has been an incredibly eventful day for Broncos country. After finding out that Sean Payton is giving up play calling duties to new offensive coordinator Davis Webb, we've got even more news to talk about straight from the NFL Combine, or at least somewhat of it. And then, of course, in the back half of this episode, we're going to talk about Mel Kiper's mock draft that he just released today, talked about, of course, on the day of the NFL Combine. Welcome in Broncos country to the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. My name is Moose. A reminder that we've got plenty of Combine content coming your way. We've got Sean Payton's press conference that we just put up. Tomorrow morning, we will be putting up even George Paton's press conference, which, of course, he talked about a lot of different things, from current players on the Broncos that need contract extensions to players they want to bring back, like Jaquan McMillan. So we've got every single Combine interview that you need, including George Paton and Sean Payton. So make sure you check that out. I'll put a link in the comments and description of today's video to Sean Payton's, and then be on the lookout for tomorrow for George Paton's interview. Let's start, of course, with the most bad news out of everything that we learned at the Combine. Darren Moogie spoke to the media members, including our very own here at Chat Sports, and he said, and I quote, "The tags are an option for Breece Hall," and then went one step further and basically said, if we cannot work out a long-term deal, it's going to be used with the tag. So clearly, they don't want to let Breece Hall go. This is bad news considering the Broncos had him very high on their free agency radar, and Breece is an excellent player. I can't think of a more well-fitted player for this Broncos running back room like Breece Hall. He can do everything. He is a powerful back between the tackles, a bell cow, but he can also kind of hybrid in that pass-catching role. He's just a phenomenal back from start to finish. But now, as I see it, there are three options when it comes to Breece. You can franchise tag him, which is the most likely. You can transition tag him, which essentially allows another team in the NFL to do the bargaining for you, and then the Jets can match the price or let him walk. Or you sign him to a long-term deal. Now, the most likely out of these two are either the franchise tag or the long-term deal. I don't see the transition tag being as big of an option in this case, so you're most likely looking at the franchise tag for Breece Hall, which would come around right around $14 million for a running back. It does lower the odds significantly, by the way. If you're a Broncos fan that was hoping to get Breece Hall, it doesn't completely eliminate the possibility, but it definitely hinders the possibility that he will sign with the Denver Broncos. If it was probably a 60% for me before, that is lowered all the way to about 20%. And like I said, it's a damn shame because you'd be getting one of the top backs in the league. I mean, we're talking about a guy that, if it weren't for the New York Football Jets, my friends, we'd be talking about a player that, in my opinion, would be an all-pro at his position. He's got well above average athleticism. He's got shiftiness. He's got strength. He's got lower the shoulder ability, the ability to pass block, to catch passes. He is the complete back, not only in this free agency class, but just in the NFL as a whole. And I found a funny meme that kind of pretty much surmises what it feels like to play for the New York Jets. Not that I ever have before, but Breece Hall says, with any other franchise, I would be the best running back in the NFL, but I'm stuck with the stinking Jets. And stinking there could be a multitude of different adjectives. Let your mind flow kind of creatively there. All right, let's move off the bad news, talk about some good news. Here's the good news. Logan WIlson is now a free agent. Now, I do realize that this was released couple of days ago, believe it or not, February 20th going back to, so about 4 days ago at the time of this recording. But Adam Schefter was the first one on this, talking about releasing Logan WIlson. The Cowboys are releasing him, and he was one of the linebacker options that I put in an earlier episode earlier this month that the Broncos could target if they wanted a cheaper veteran option at that linebacker position. I do believe this is something that the Broncos should look into. That doesn't necessarily mean that you've got to go out and sign him, but when you go out and do your car shopping, do you ever buy the car that's the first one on your radar? No, you do a test drive of one, maybe two, three, or four. You weigh the options, you see what's cheaper, you see what's more affordable, and then you find a nice little comparison and compromise in the middle. And Logan WIlson kind of feels like that 2009 Honda Civic that maybe has a couple, good miles left on it still. Now remember, he started the year last year with the Cincinnati Bengals, got traded to the Cowboys for a 7th-round pick. He ended the year with, what is that? Quick math. 70 tackles, thank you, producer Parker, and 5 PBUs. So what this to me would signify is maybe, just maybe, they would add him to replace Justin Stranad. Now, I know I've talked about Alex Singleton replacements, but this to me signifies that Alex Singleton is staying. Not only based off of the reports that I'm seeing from guys like Mike Kliss and Zach Stevens, but just my overall vibe of what's going on is that George Payton really wants to bring back Alex Singleton. You'll actually hear from him in his press conference tomorrow that he also talks very highly of Alex Singleton. So I do believe that AS is going to end up staying with the Broncos, which would lead me to believe that you could have a trio that kind of looks like this. Greenlaw, Singleton, Wilson. Now, in the event that Dre Greenlaw misses any more time, like he did last year, Wilson is an excellent and probably the best rotational spot, a rotational piece to fill in that Dre Greenlaw spot. And I know everybody has a huge question mark surrounding the playing time of Dre Greenlaw heading into the 26th season. So if you would sign Logan WIlson, who, by the way, can do it all. He can drop back in pass coverage. He can stop the run. He's not going to do anything at an elite level, but he does everything at a well enough level. He's the ultimate B linebacker. If you would sign him, type your S for sign, type your P for pass. Now, coming up, we're going to talk a little bit more about Mel Kiper and what he had with the Denver Broncos and who they select in his first mock draft. And spoiler alert, he might be off of his meds. But before we do that, I have to tell you about our friends over at Rag and Bone. I don't know if you guys have noticed the brand new shirt that I'm wearing. Genuinely one of the most comfortable shirts I've ever put on. So let's talk about the new clothes that I've been wearing from our friends over at Rag and Bone. If you go to rag-bone.com and use code CHAT, you get 20% off your order. These clothes are so comfortable and classy and feel super high quality as well. I've already gotten a couple of compliments on the shirt that I'm rocking. People think that I have style now. The clothes are built to last. I got myself the classic flame tee, paired it with their Fit 3 athletic jeans that honestly are so comfortable as well. I forgot I was wearing jeans, and now I've got this nice stylish outfit that I can wear anywhere and impress my wife as well. Infused denim has the made-to-last quality that you notice the first time you put them on. They feel premium. They look sharp, and you can tell they're meant to be long-term wardrobe staples. If it's time to upgrade your denim with Rag and Bone for a limited time, our listeners get 20% off their entire order with code CHAT at rag-bone.com. That's 20% off at rag-bone.com with promo code CHAT. When they ask where you heard about them, please support our show and let them know that Moose from the Broncos Breakdown sent you. Okay, so it is so fitting that Mel Kiper puts out his mock on Combine Day. Obviously, all of the coaches, GMs, are there to do their scouting for the upcoming 2026 NFL Draft, which starts on April 30th. Now, for those of you who have been living under a rock, the Broncos currently own the 30th overall pick. Or dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. I think that's the draft jingle right there. Obviously, with the 30th overall pick, your overall talent selection is going to be less than what you would get if you were inside the top 15. There's an old saying that in the NFL draft, the first 15 picks are considered the commodities. Everything else after that is just kind of like might as well be the second round, right? The second round kind of extends from pick 17 to 62. Essentially, is what the old added. I think that's a bit lazy in my opinion, but that's what most people say. So without further ado, let's not waste any more time with the 30th overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. Mel Kiper has the Broncos selecting Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, safety from Toledo. Let's let that marinate for a second. Kiper might actually be crazy. he might need to get back on the medication because you can't convince me Mel Kiper has watched any Broncos game this entire season. In fact, I'm convinced he might only work for 3 months out of the year because anybody with a brain would tell you that safety is like 5th or 6th on the priority list for the Denver Broncos in terms of what they need to address. George Payton said it. Sean Payton said it. All of these same positions we've been talking about. Running back, tight end, linebacker, receiver. Mostly on the offensive side of the ball. If you drafted a safety with the 30th overall pick, it is organizational malpractice. But Kiper explains his decision by saying this. The Broncos have 2 solid safeties. Oh, it's nice that you acknowledge that, Mel. In Talanoa, Hufanga, and Brandon Jones. So this pick might not reap the immediate rewards, but neither did the Jahdae Barron pick last April. Denver is planning ahead in the secondary and building something there as Coach Sean Payton focuses on keeping this defense strong. Okay, I understand what he's trying to do, right? He's trying to look 3 years down the road. But there's no guarantee your Super Bowl window will be open in 3 years. We think it will, but there's no guarantee. And he said it himself. You don't need this guy. McNeil-Warren, guys, he's good. And some could say he's even pretty elite in coverage. Just look at the coverage stats. I mean, only 15 attempts with 6 completions for 116 yards, 1 touchdown allowed, and an opposing passer rating of 50.3. But I would challenge you to just think beyond the player statistics. The Broncos don't necessarily need to go best player available. And I feel like that's kind of where they went last year with Jahdae Barron. They felt like it was best player available. And McNeil-Warren is one of those players that despite the really solid production and great productivity in his college career, I just don't think the Broncos need him. You've got Brandon Jones. You've got Talanoa Hufanga. He wouldn't start year 1. Can we all acknowledge that? Like, this would just be somebody that you would keep on your bench, maybe move him to special teams for a little while like you did with Q Robinson, and then hopefully he's developed enough by year two to take over a starting position so you wouldn't have to pay the likes of Brandon Jones or Hufanga. So I think this is a really bad first pick. So if I had to grade it, if I had to grade Kiper's first pick, I'd probably go D. Now, and I can't go F because it sounds kind of harsh. McNeil-Warren's a good player. He's going to be a very, very good player for whomever drafts him, and whoever needs a safety should look high into drafting him. There's a chance he goes in the top 20. But for the Broncos, it's not the right fit. So I'm going to go with D simply because, like I said, it just doesn't fit what the Broncos need. But let me know in the comment section down below. I'll be back tomorrow with plenty more draft combine content just for you. We've got George Payton's interview. We've got plenty of different player interviews coming as well. So keep your eyes peeled. As always, Broncos country, mile high salute. Be cool.